Hey everyone, today we're diving into what is honestly a monumental shift in how software is created. We're going to start way down at the microscopic building blocks of artificial intelligence, and then we'll work our way all the way up to the macro level to see how everyday people, entrepreneurs, educators, and small business owners are building full-stack applications without writing a single line of code.
Google Cloud recently said, "We have entered the era of vibe coding." And wow, does that set the perfect stage for our explainer today. The traditional barriers to software creation are just completely shattering right now. You no longer need to spend months or even years pulling your hair out learning cryptic programming languages. Instead, absolutely anyone can describe their vision in natural language and deploy fully functioning web apps. Basically, you bring the vibe and the AI brings the code.
Here is our roadmap for today. First, foundations, LLMs, and tokens. Second, controlling AI, temperature settings. Third, the vibe coding revolution. Fourth, Ajath's multi-agent engine. And finally, the infinite canvas workflow.
Okay, let's jump right into Section 1. Foundations, LLMs, and tokens.
So the magic of AI, it really all boils down to next token prediction. Research from Sebastian Raschke and the Polo Club of Data Science shows us that an AI isn't just sitting there strictly following grammatical rules like a high school English teacher. Nope, it's actually a massive probability engine. Think of it a bit like your phone's autocomplete, but exponentially more powerful. Powered by a transformer architecture, it uses a self-attention mechanism to read sequences of words simultaneously. It's looking for deep semantic relationships so it can guess the absolute most probable next piece of text.
But you might be wondering, what exactly are those pieces of text? Well, they're called tokens. You can think of tokens as the raw, fundamental building materials of AI, and we have a few different ways to create them. Word-level tokenization is intuitive, sure, but it causes this massive vocabulary explosion, basically demanding way more memory than even a supercomputer wants to deal with. Now, character-level tokenization solves that memory issue, but unfortunately it loses the local meaning of the text. So as noted by Microsoft Learn, the industry standard we've settled on is subword tokenization, specifically byte pair encoding, or BPE for short. BPE elegantly splits complex words into recognizable subunits. Take the word unhappy, for example. BPE splits it right into un and happy. It is just a brilliantly efficient way to feed data into our probability engine.
Moving right along to Section 2, controlling AI, temperature settings.
So how do we actually tell these tokens how to behave? There's a massive contrast in how we instruct AI, and it all comes down to a setting called temperature. If you need the AI to act like a super strict, precise construction crew building your app's backend, you crank that temperature down to 0. This triggers what's called greedy decoding, where the AI always picks the single highest probability token. It is absolutely essential for precise, factual coding. But let's say you want a creative brainstorm. Then you'd use a high temperature, something above 1.0. This encourages the AI to take extreme risks, choosing much lower probability tokens. It's fantastic for casual chat, but if you're trying to write software, oh boy, it risks generating complete nonsense. But get this, here is a really surprising technical detail documented in recent research. Even if you lock that temperature setting at exactly 0, expecting a perfectly deterministic, identical output every single time, you won't always get it. Because GPUs process the underlying math in parallel threads, something called floating point non-associativity means the math doesn't always sum up in the exact same order. So you can literally still see a 1 to 5% variance in the output. That means even the most rigid, lockdown AI settings aren't 100% mathematically identical every single time. Pretty wild, right?
Which brings us to Section 3, the vibe coding revolution.
Now that the AI is handling all that complex token prediction we just talked about in the background, you, the citizen developer, are completely freed from the burden of learning coding syntax. Vibe coding drastically lowers your cognitive load. Whether you're an educator trying to build a custom learning portal, a small business owner setting up an inventory system, or an entrepreneur testing a brand new idea, you don't have to stress over missing semicolons or weird configuration conflicts anymore. It positions you, the human, as the creative director. Your only job now is to focus on solving your business problems, designing a great layout, and perfecting the user flow.
So how do we put this into practice? Let's look at Section 4, Ajath's multi-agent engine. This is where a platform like Ajath comes in. It harnesses all those AI foundations to orchestrate what is essentially the ultimate digital construction crew. Instead of a single, easily confused chatbot trying to write a whole app by itself, Ajath uses a multi-agent architecture. It orchestrates up to 10 parallel agents, including these highly specialized AI personalities named Meyer 4, Reina, Jacob, and Matt.
They literally divide and conquer, simultaneously handling the front-end UI, the database schemas, and all the secure authentication.
And this parallel coordination is exactly what prevents those super frustrating repetitive debugging loops we used to get with old single chatbots. Think about it. While Maya 4 is working on your visual layout, Reina, Jacob, and Matt are tackling the back end, structuring the database schemas, and locking down secure authentication. All of this is happening at the exact same time. It is a completely parallel, synchronized effort that builds robust software incredibly fast.
Let's move to the final piece of the puzzle, Section 5, the infinite canvas workflow.
You can think of the infinite canvas as this amazing visual development environment that perfectly marries a simple chat interface with real-time visual design. You literally just chat with your agents to build the app, and then you can visually tweak the layout directly on this canvas. But the real magic? As you make those visual changes on the screen, the multi-agent engine is seamlessly rewriting all the complex underlying code pipelines in the background for you. It perfectly bridges the gap between the vision in your head and the actual functional code.
Of course, making the layout look good is only half the battle. An app actually has to run somewhere, right? Well, platforms like Ajath provide zero setup, full-stack infrastructure. For a citizen developer, this is an absolute game changer. You can launch your app with a shareable URL instantly from day one. You get to completely skip that incredibly steep learning curve of setting up serverless computing, configuring databases, and wiring up secure auth. It even comes with over 100 API integrations already built right in, things like Stripe for payments, OpenAI, and Google Workspace. Everything is ready right out of the box so you can focus 100% on your actual business logic.
Well, that brings us to the end of our explainer today, and I want to leave you with one incredibly empowering question. Now that syntax is no longer a barrier, what will you vibe code? We've seen how the raw probability of next token prediction has been harnessed, structured, and packaged up into these incredible multi-agent systems. The technical hurdles of the past, they're completely gone. The agents are ready, the infrastructure is zero set up, and it is entirely your turn to become a citizen developer and start building. Thanks so much for learning with me today, and I really hope this sparks some incredible ideas for your very next project.